Alright, welcome to this video. Today, in this video, what we're going to be talking about is we're going to talk about ecosystems of Colorado. Okay, so this is going to directly help you decide what ecosystem you would like to do. So we're going to continue with this. It's just going to be a pretty easy, straightforward video. We're going to be looking at the different ecosystem types. We're going to learn about what more of an ecosystem is, but you guys probably have a vague familiarity with what an ecosystem is already. Okay, so we're going to be looking at that. There's going to be 8 ones that we have the possibility to work with this week. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to continue on with those. So the 8 major ones we're going to talk about riparian, sage shrubland, grasslands, montane shrubland, pinyon juniper or PJ woodlands, okay, montane woodlands, subalpine forests, and alpine tundra. Okay, so those are our different types we're going to see within Colorado. Now, with this as well, we're going to see in the next couple slides different posters. Okay, again, these posters were made by Paul Gray. Great artist. He has substituted before at Palisade High School. He is brother to Miss Rush. So he's very familiar with our school community and with a lot of the different things we do within our science programs. So you're going to see some of those. I got as many as I could in color, but you're going to see some of them that are in black and white. That's just how it is. I'm going to see if I can find color ones as best I can. But for right now, we're just going to have to deal with the black and white. I'm going to describe these ecosystems just a little bit to see if I can entice some of you to get into and start researching some of these. Okay? So by the end of this video, you should have one that you really want to do, but you're going to rank each of these based on the ones you want to do most. Okay, so I can get a good spread throughout the classes. Okay, all right, moving on. So our first one is going to be our riparian ecosystem. Let me scroll over through to my notes for the riparian real quick. I have a whole booklet of information here that talks specifically about each of these ecosystems. But what we see with our riparian is we can see a bunch of different animals and plants labeled within this ecosystem. What the main defining factor of our riparian ecosystem is going to be is it's going to be defined by its use and amount of water. Okay, compared to all of the ecosystems in Colorado, a riparian ecosystem is going to be ones that are going to be around watery areas. These are going to be provided or make things like wetlands, or hydric areas. Wet meadows could be part of that as well. Anything that follows along a river, those could be considered riparian areas. So within our small little desert community, we have a green strip that follows through the Grand Valley around our river. Okay, so that is going to be our riparian area. Within this, you're going to see a lot of plants that are needing water. Some things like cottonwoods, which is going to be labeled with number 21 there. Cottonwoods, willows, sedges, rushes, those are all going to be part of the plant community within the riparian area. But within the animal side, we're going to see waterfowl like geese and ducks. We're going to see small mammals like rabbits, beavers. We're going to have important things with beavers in this area. Raccoons are going to be part of this as well. Even to larger mammals and larger animals like deer and larger birds and stuff like that. These are going to be areas where water is. So it's super important that we have these areas, because if we don't have this area, there's not a whole lot of water within our area to look at and to have with everything else around it. Okay, so riparian areas, they're found fairly everywhere across Colorado, but we're going to be looking at these. So this is an option for you today. Next one, ooh, bright color, good color. Our sage shrubland. If you look out anywhere around you, this is probably what it's going to look like. We live in a pretty sage shrubland area around us. Okay, so flipping through my notes real quick. Sage shrublands, they're going to be drier than the riparian area we were just talking about. Okay, within this photo, we can see some larger mammals. Obviously, the elk is going to be a good one here. But in this area, we can also see pronghorn deer, pronghorn and mule deer, rather, not pronghorn deer. They're different things. We can also see coyotes, could be a potential within this area. Some of the birds we're going to see, some different eagles. We have a golden eagle right here. Some scrub jays. We have the blue jay here, and then some other scrub jay. We're also going to see sage grouse, which is going to be at the bottom here. The sage grouse. That's going to be a very important one within these areas specifically. These are the sage grouse. We're in the sage shrubland. Okay, very important for that. Plants in this area. They're going to have some different ones that are going to be very important. Obviously, sagebrush is going to be a very big one. It's called the sage shrubland. We're going to have rabbit brush, which I might have shown before. Rabbit brush is going to be this one right here with a yellow top, so that's going to be our rabbit brush in this photo. And then paintbrush. So we have some different paintbrush flowers. So we have our paintbrushes right here, these orange ones. Very low water content usually in these areas. They're going to be drier. They're going to have sandier soil, which allows for water to filter through a lot faster. So it doesn't hold on to a lot of water. Not a very rich habitat for a large diversity of plants. But that's all right. In the background, we see some of these darker ones. These are going to be our pinyon junipers. So pinyon pines and juniper trees. They're going to start encroaching onto this land at this time. Okay. So this is what we're looking at for our sage shrubland. Found a lot around here and then north of us as well, up through Rangeley and even Craig and everything up towards Wyoming. A lot of this kind of habitat. Okay. Grasslands, back to black and white. I know. A little upsetting, but we make do. We make do. So grasslands, these are going to be our prairies. They're going to be super important for us. We don't see a whole lot of this on our side of the state, the western side of the state. Mostly going to see a lot of this on the eastern side, or even, I guess, southwest of us potentially. But eastern side of the United States, or eastern side of Colorado, is going to have a lot more of these. Some of the bigger animals we're going to see, pronghorn, big one for this one. Pronghorn's going to have a huge grasp on this area. And a lot of what we see is we see a lot of mixing of species. So we see pronghorn in sage shrubland, like we just said earlier. But we're also going to see some different species, like burrowing owl, which is going to be down here. Golden eagle, we saw in the last one. Red-tailed hawks, those are going to be in there as well. Prairie dogs, obviously it's prairie. We're going to have prairie dogs. We're going to have some different species of plants in this area as well. We can see this one, these spiky ones here with the long stem. These are yuccas. Yuccas are going to be very big on dry areas, okay? A lot of dry grasses in the area, probably some salt grass. We're going to see some other issues with invasive species. We're probably going to see a lot of cheatgrass in this area as well. Prickly pear right here is going to be a big one. We got some rattlesnakes. So these are going to be found in different pockets around the state. These are going to be defined mostly by their precipitation and the amount of plants inhabiting this area. Okay, so grassland is an option for you. Okay, next one, montane shrubland. So montane, it's not Montana, it's a little bit different. Okay, montane is just another word we can use for mountainous. Okay, so when we have a montane area, it's going to be more mountainy. These are going to be a little bit above our sage shrubland. They're actually going to be above our PJ shrubland, which we'll talk about, I think, in the next one. But montane shrublands are going to be a little bit higher up. This is going to be looking at places that will be closer to Colburn. Mesa could potentially be a good montane shrubland. So not on the top of the mesa, but a little bit below that ecosystem. Okay, on top of the mesa, we're going to see some alpine, and then some montane forests. This is going to be right before we get to the montane forests. Okay, so as we're driving up to the mesa, we're going to see a lot of this kind of shrubby area. In this area, we see animals like the mountain lion. We see elk. We see deer in this area. Mostly deer. Elk is a little bit above this. But we see a bunch of different things. We see the mountain lion as well. These trees are going to be our pinyons, moving in with our junipers as well. So we might see some of those. Yeah. Don't know what else to say really about this. Montane shrubland. Pinyon juniper woodland. So this is going to be in between our sage shrubland and our montane woodland, which we just talked about, or montane shrubland. So our pinyon juniper woodland is going to be more of a woody area. It's going to have a lot more species that are trees rather than herbaceous species. Okay, so like a grassland is full of grasses. Duh, called grassland. They're not going to be dominated by trees. These are going to be dominated by trees. We're going to see two trees, pinyons and junipers. Easily enough. It's a pinyon juniper woodland. Okay. So these areas are going to be stuff we're going to see like on the monument, or just a little bit east of Palisade, like Palisade Rim area. We could see some of these guys. Monument's probably the better one for this. Okay. A lot of different species in the area. You can see we got a mountain lion. Ah, gee, I got something stuck in my throat. Let me get some water real quick. Where's my water bottle? Okay. We got mountain lions. We got some deer in the back over here. Different mammals going through here. Some mice, some little foxes. What it looks like. Golden eagle. All right, that's a little better. Okay. So this is going to be defined by the pinyon juniper species, or the pinyon juniper species within this area. Okay. So we're going to see those predominantly being the bigger ones. In here, these big round green masses, those are going to be our junipers, and then these really woody, they always have like really cracked stems. These are going to be our pinyon juniper, or our pinyons, rather, pinyon pines. Okay? All right, juniper. Back to black and white. I know. Montane forests, these are going to be higher up in elevation. They're going to be like the top of the mesa. They're going to have thicker forested areas. You can see on this side, these really densely forested areas. They're going to mostly be coniferous trees. You're going to learn about what a conifer is if you don't already know. But what a conifer is going to be defined is going to be like spruces, pines, firs, those kind of things. These are going to be higher up in elevation. You're going to have a different level of, or different amount, or different you're gonna have different species of animals, okay, just because it lives in a different area. We're gonna see things like moose potentially in this area, bighorn sheep, black bears. You're still gonna have deer, you're still gonna have elk, but you're gonna have different ones that don't usually live in other areas. You know, we don't see moose in a sage shrubland. We see moose predominantly in just this alpine montane forest. Okay, so this is gonna be, if we were looking locally, places like Vega Lake could be a good one around here. That'd be a little bit north of, or a little bit east of Colburn, rather. Powderhorn could be a good spot for this. Powderhorn is in that weird mix between the montane forest and the montane shrubland. Okay, so we've got that there. Subalpine forest. This is going to be more towards the very top of the mesa, I guess. So back up. This montane forest is going to be that continuation going up towards the top of the mesa. This is going to be the top of the mesa. Okay, subalpine forest. We're going to see all sorts of different species. Okay, like I said, moose, black bears, elk, lots of different birds. But this is going to be a good mix between our conifers and our deciduous trees. Aspens are going to be a huge one around here. Okay, so this is probably going to be more like Powderhorn and above. Anything on the mesa, if you ever go to Grand Mesa or Mesa Lakes, this is what you're going to see. Okay, lots of good trees, lots of good community interaction with a bunch of these different species. There's also a lot of water and precipitation available to help build these communities. Okay. Alpine tundra, very top. This is above tree line. So our plant community is not going to be very big up here, or at least our big plants like trees and shrubs. They're not going to be very huge up here. These are going to be the tops of our 14ers and very top of our mesa. Okay, there's some areas on the top of the mesa where trees don't really like to grow because it's just too high up for them. It gets too cold for the majority of the year for them to really grow. So when you're looking at a big mountain and you see a level where trees stop, that everything above that's going to be our alpine tundra. You're going to see a lot of really hardy, mobile animals. So big animals like elk, bighorn sheep, they're going to be able to move through these areas fairly effectively. Some different birds might live up here, but not a whole lot of plants to talk about really right now. Okay. All right, so those are our 8. Okay, I talked a little bit more about some than others. If you have any questions, please let me know. But what we're going to do is you guys are going to go into the Google Classroom and you're going to rank based off of the pictures you saw and the little descriptions I gave, which one you guys would most like to do. You're going to rank them from 1 to 8, 1 being most like to do and 8 being least like to do. So you're going to rank them, and then we're going to get that figured out for our ecosystem projects that we're going to start on next week. Okay, so that is your first part of the ecosystem project, is choosing your ecosystem. So give me that by Friday. Remember, it's a weird one. Give it to me by Friday so I can get you your ecosystem by Monday, and then we can move forward from there. If you have any questions, there's my email. Please let me know, and I'll see you in the next one. The next video is going to be notes, so again, keep a piece of paper with you. We'll start taking notes in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.